Good evening, everybody. This is the Nunn from Stu and the Nunn, and we are live on Facebook and a couple other things. I'm checking my meters. I got some red lines going, so I apologize if it's coming in too loud. But that's okay because it's just my melodious voice. But welcome, everybody. We got a quick Fast and Furious show for you all tonight. Troy is doing the family vacay and work thing, and he is out. Next week, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing up in Kanaka Bar, going back to the homeland. So Troy, my brother from another motherland, is where he's supposed to be. Next week, I will be where I'm from. But coming off of 4th of July weekend, lots of really exciting things going on. A couple of things that we are going to talk about because we haven't really had a chance to go through them. But we're going to just start at the top. And if you are in the any of the chats or anything like that, feel free to chime in. You got the text number on the screen. You can hit that up, or you can like do whatever. Here, let me do a quick little. Man, where's all my stuff? Let me do a little. I'm not the awesome tech guy that Troy is. But here you go. Boom. I'm about to fire it up. There it is. And we got the socials going. We got this going. We got Rob in the room. We got the Shards in the room. We got Troy's mom in the room. We got John Kaiser. We got some people all up in the crew. Here we go. All right. First and foremost, congratulations, America. It was your birthday last weekend. You celebrated well. There's probably some signs that have, as you're leaving posts on different DOD establishments that say this many days since our last infraction, that number's probably gone back down to zero. But that's not because our freedom level's gone down to zero. It's because we know how to party. 1776 is when it all started. 2019, still partying, still getting down. What can we say? We like to get down. We came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around. Rob brought it up because I was going to say there's a lot of things to celebrate. The United States women's national soccer team with a victory. They got 4 stars going, and that's not the hotel rating. That's the number of World Cup championships that they can boast. But even that is without controversy because there's some sadness, there's some frustration involved because people tend to forget that sports are not politics, even though sports and politics are connected. In the 1980s, we learned how closely sports and politics were connected when the Cold War, some of the most important negotiations in the Cold War and some of the things some of the summits that had the most impact in the diffusing of the Cold War, the warming of the Cold War, were based around international hockey contests. Great leaders like Pierre Trudeau out of Canada, Ronald Reagan, obviously the Reaganator out of the United States of America, and Gorbachev out of the United Socialist Soviet Republics, USSR. That was all done around sporting events. Conversations were started around sporting events. So the World Cup actually is a really big deal. A lot of things happen. So politics and sports do intersect. However, they are not the same. And sadly, the politicizing of the women's World Cup is is actually kind of sad. One of the captains, Rapinoe, is a staunch advocate or I won't even say advocate, I'll say is just anti-Trump. And hopefully that unfroze there. And here's the thing. If you are going to be on the United States national team, if you're going to represent the United States of America, you have to understand that you represent more than yourself. Anyone that's served in the military understands this. When you put on the uniform that says United States Army, United States Navy, United States Marine Corps, United States Air Force, that you're not in Toby Nunn's Army, Toby Nunn's Air Force, Toby Nunn's anything. You are in the United States. You represent that. Your political opinion goes out the window. And if there's a song that represents, I'm not a fan of the Army song. I'll be honest with you. First to fight for the right, and to build the nation's mind, and the caissons go rolling along, and hi, that's awesome. Not my jam. When I was a active duty service member and that song was played, I was compelled by duty to project it out, to sing with glee, and I was kind of like, it's hey, hi, he, it just wasn't me. But that's what was called of me. That was my duty to sing it. It was my duty to stand at attention. It was my duty to give it honor, reverence, and I did it. I didn't take a knee and be like, sorry, this is y'all's army, not my army. I'm not going to represent. I'm going to take a knee while this song is sung. If you're part of something bigger than that, and it has a banner, it's got a guide on, and I'll be honest with you, there was a time in my Army career that I was in a cavalry unit, not an infantry unit, but a cavalry unit as an infantryman. It was a red and white guide on, not a blue guide on with cross rifles. And it hurt a little bit. They wanted us to wear the Stetson. They wanted us to do like this whole spurs thing. And I'm like, but I'm an infantryman. I'm a little boy. And you still got to do it. You still got to put on that Stetson, because you are representing something bigger than yourself. You belong to something bigger than yourself, and you have the United States attached to it. Shut up. Stand up. Do what's called upon you in that moment. I don't care if you scored 50 goals. I don't care if you scored 0 goals. If you are wearing the jersey, you are wearing the name tape, you are representing the millions of Americans back here while you're in France or wherever, whatever country, whatever it is that you're doing. Take your stupid Ray-Bans off and show respect. Speak eloquently. Speak intelligently. And if you cannot do that, which there's a lot of soldiers that cannot, there's a lot of airmen and Marines and naval folk that cannot, then shut up. Just let those do that can, and you do your part. To try and bolster oneself politically, to bolster oneself socially off of something that they are not, it's transparent, it's hypocritical, and it's downright disappointing and disgusting. Not impressed by Megan Rapinoe in any way. I've had her speech in New York City shared with me probably 20 times a day through Messenger, tweeted to me and all that stuff. And it's like, cool, man. It's it's disingenuous. Everything that comes out of your mouth is disingenuous. The whole flag on the ground thing, like, she probably didn't understand what she was doing. And I'm talking about her teammate, because again, Rapinoe's like trying to get this personal moment, like, I'm gonna hoist up the trophy. That's a tradition. It's a traditional celebration. I'm all about cellies. Anyone that knows me knows I play a little bit of hockey, and if I get the opportunity to do some stupid celly, I'm probably gonna do the old Tiger Woods fist pump, the old Wayne Gretzky. I'm gonna do something. I might even celebrate like my boy that knocked out Ben Askren this weekend. What? We'll talk about that later. But like, there's going to be a celly involved. Don't involve disrespecting the country. Don't involve disrespecting all the people behind you. And like, just represent how you're supposed to represent. And let's not forget that you are an athlete. That's all you are. When you step off the field, you're a human being. You have thoughts, you have rights, you have privileges. But when you're on that field and when you're on that platform, we're there to celebrate your athletic accomplishments, your athletic talents, your athletic prowess. I don't really need to be lectured on politics, especially about immigration, especially about love, especially about any of that, from someone that, their personal experience is equal to mine. I'm not going to gain anything. The American people are not going to gain anything from the same experience that every human being has. She is not special. She's not unique. Even with painting her hair a different color, that doesn't make her more unique than anyone else. She wears Ray-Ban glasses. That's the same as any, aviator in the history of aviation. Like, come on, like, be better than that. Use your platform. The speech that she gave in New York was so hypocritical, and all I can hear is I, me, 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 me. Like, I watched the games. On one occasion, I watched it at the Mesquite Creek Outfitters in downtown Georgetown, Texas. And one of the things I enjoyed hearing was the chanting of people saying USA, USA. All different race, creed, religions, all different people. They were cheering for the USA. They were not cheering for a political agenda. They were not cheering for a political policy. They weren't cheering for anything other than let's be back-to-back champs. Let's do that. Let's do that victory thing that we do. So I wanted to touch on that, and that's about all I got to say about that. Next thing I want to talk about. Yes, you are absolutely right, Rob. Rob, the unpaid producer in the Facebook chat, said, we can live in this world without sports. We cannot live without the military and first responders. 100% accurate. Let's not forget who our real heroes are. Our real heroes are the people that get up every day, put on a uniform, put on a service belt, get into their vehicle, and patrol our streets and respond randomly to the calls that come in, and rush to accidents, rush to fires, rush to any kind of cause that requires support to the military that rush. We are excited that we might have some pretty cool guests coming on in a couple of weeks that rushed into something. That's what we need to celebrate. We can live without sports. We can live without air-conditioned seats and leather. Mankind's survived without air-conditioned seats. Up to this point, we can continue to do it. It's not mandatory to have in all vehicles. All right, so moving on. Something that's really interesting that's happening. Guest of the show, a repeat offender of the show, Jim Hansen, the president of the Center for Americans, or Fox News contributor, Uncle Jimbo, Jim Hansen, as well as several other folks that we've had on the show, are going to be at the White House today and tomorrow for part of this social media summit. And everyone's like, wow, this doesn't, seem like big news. Well, it's actually not big news. It's important news, though. And it's important to talk about because since the current administration's been in power, the powers that be, the influence that those that control the platforms of social media, I think we lost the live feed on. If you're still here on Spreaker listening to it, our Facebook just got shut down. It's such a coincidence that we were talking about social media in the White House, and all of a sudden just got shut down. Not a coincidence. Don't believe it. Super frustrating. It is what it is. There's definitive proof that Facebook and Twitter openly, engage in the stymieing, the silencing, the muting, if you will, of voices that they don't like. And tonight's a perfect example. I didn't even talk about their policy yet. I just said that it was important that the summit's happening, and the reason it's happening at the White House is because of this very reason we got shut down. I'm gonna go ahead and break from the broadcast to try and get us back up on socials. But thanks for tuning in. I'll be back here shortly. Troy will also be back next week. We got some great guests lined up, and super excited for everything that we have coming up. We got 5 to 6 big guests already lined up and confirmed. It's just with coming off the holiday weekend and then going into this weekend, it's just tough, especially with travel, vacations, and such. But thanks for tuning in. As always, you can follow us at www.stewandthenunn.com. You can check out our Facebook page if they let you. Instagram, Stew and the Nunn. We're on the iHeartRadio, the iTunes, and the Spotify, all the great stuff. Just look for Stew and the Nunn or Stew and the Nunn Radio. And have a great week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm going to try and get everything fired back up. Thanks again.